Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to the recap and breakdown. Today we're going to take a look at UFC Vegas 106, Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales, which took place this past weekend on May 17th, 2025, starting at 4 p.m. EST. We're going to be taking a look at the early prelims, and the main card, going through each fight that happened and just giving a little bit of a backstory, or I guess a breakdown on what happened. It's going to be quick. We're going to get it done. Hopefully you guys do enjoy. If you guys do, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already. And let's get down and dirty on this card that did open up with some absolutely insane finishes, but not in the early prelim opener. That was Tisha Pennington versus Luana Pinheiro. I did enjoy this fight. A little bit sketchy for Tisha Pennington. She did end up winning the fight on the scorecards. I did feel like it may have been closer than the judges perhaps perceived it. Tisha Pennington, after the fight, said that she felt really good about this win. She really felt like she did what she wanted to do, and she doesn't feel like it was a bad win. Now, in my opinion, it wasn't a great win. Luana Pinheiro is one of those girls that has some problems in the octagon, you know, against Amanda Ribas, Angela Hill, Jillian Robertson. She's getting tagged by girls that not necessarily have incredible power. Angela Hill is a very, very good kickboxer by herself, but the problem is she doesn't really get knockouts. She's more of a volume striker. Amanda Ribas, similar. She's more of a grappling and then ground and pound. Jillian Robertson, very similar. She's not really a volume striker. She's more of a, she's not of a power puncher. She's more volume, you know, progressive against the cage. Tisha Pennington, kind of similar, but always looks for those big shots, but she hasn't really gotten finishes inside of her mixed martial arts career. Now, she had a bad, in my opinion, it's a bad performance against Luana Pinheiro. If this Tisha Pennington shows up against anyone even remotely close to Luana Pinheiro, and she's going to get a better fight next, it's a problem. It's a huge problem, because Luana Pinheiro is not a girl that is significantly good in anything. There's nothing that she's good at. She's good at brawling. She's good at walking forward and just getting dirty. Realistically, that's what she's good at. She has terrible takedown defense. She has terrible Brazilian jiu-jitsu for a Brazilian. And she gets stuck in these positions where she doesn't have anywhere to go, and she has to put this dogfight on in order to try and win some rounds. Only way that she was going to beat Pennington is by pure force, by pure power, and not by technique. She doesn't have the technique in order to progress through the division. And when Pennington is losing to a girl using pure power and not exactly using the right technique, like, dude, she's beating Esparza, a close fight against Angela Hill, Sam Hughes, Brianna Fortino. These are not good wins. These are not high-level wins. Carla Esparza, two-time champion, she's on her way out. She hasn't looked good since the Yan Jianan fight. Literally, I'm not even kidding. She hasn't looked good since then. She's on the downfall. And Tisha Pennington makes it look still competitive. Like, it's, if you're making a competitive fight against Luana Pinheiro, you're going to have problems down the road. Tisha Pennington at 115, I don't think is going to survive. I think, like, she needs to improve drastically in terms of how she gets in those exchanges, because she's getting in the exchanges where she's getting clipped with big shots on the way out, and she needs to just roll and maybe throw a couple more punches instead of just throwing a 1 and a 2, and not just extending the combination to a point where she can get out without getting hurt. You can throw a 1, 2, 3 and slip out like a boxing slip, especially against a girl like Luana Pinheiro, who's not using she's not using any technique. We're just sitting there and just trying to have a dogfight. Pennington needs to get a little bit more, I don't know, like a little bit more strategic, a little bit more statistical when it comes down to it, because you're getting into a statistics battle where, dude, one big bomb and you go down and you're out because you haven't been hit like that. And Luana Pinheiro could do it. Denise Gomes, man, if she was a 115er, holy shit, she would rob the hell out of Tisha Pennington's career. Anyway, that was way too long on that one, but let's move on. Next on the prelims, unfortunate, Hyung-Sung Park versus Carlos Hernandez. I thought Hernandez was going to have an advantage in the grappling. I felt like Carlos Hernandez in the clinch situation would have a very, very big advantage. I thought he'd be able to just kind of control Park and just kind of brutalize him in ways that we would see later in the second and third round. Now, we didn't get there. We had Hyung-Sung Park immediately with some very, very good boxing, and then moves right to some Muay Thai knees, right to the stomach. And as soon as I saw that first knee hit, Carlos Hernandez had a very, very bad look in his eye, and I knew Hyung-Sung Park hit him right in the suplex, or whatever it's called. I believe that's what it's called, suplex right in the middle. I'm a little bit a little bit tired today. You know, we don't know what we're talking about. But again, gets hit right in the suplex sternum, whatever you want to call it, and yeah, he did not look good immediately from then on out. He had a bad look in his eye. He ate another knee from Park. Park immediately took him down, grabbed his back, got a body triangle in, and yeah, Carlos, I thought would be able to fight off the what is? Oh, I'm looking up something because it's pissing me off now. What? Abdomen. No, that's not. I don't know why I can't like solar plexus. Sorry, I don't know why I knew I was wrong. Solar plexus. He got hit right in the solar plexus by Hyung-Sung Park's knee. Sorry, that's where I was going. That's what I was looking for. I was a little quiet for a second, okay? Deal with it. I was helping you out. Anyway, Hernandez got submitted immediately. I thought he was going to be able to survive a little bit longer. Just nothing. There was just nothing there for him. Hyung-Sung Park just absolutely brutalized him, took him out inside the first round, and I believe Carlos Hernandez is probably on his way out of the UFC at this point. He's one of those guys that's just been getting fed road to UFC guys. And again, regardless, I would have never picked Hyung-Sung Park. I can't sit here and tell you that I would have, and that I should have looked at it, but I would have never picked Park because I don't trust those road to UFC guys. And Park looked bad against Gok Choi, who, in my opinion, isn't even that good. Just saying, it seems like a little bit of a bad win. And then you have him just dominate Carlos Hernandez. At least we know that he's got the grappling down pat. Excuse me. Let's see if he can do something else at a 125, perhaps a little bit better than Carlos Hernandez. Next on the prelims. Now, this is one of the fights that pissed me off the most. Denise Gomes versus Elise Reed. Now, Elise Reed opens the fight. Feels like she can try to box with Denise Gomes, and immediately gets clipped in the first like 30 seconds. Gets clipped with a hard overhand. And Elise immediately knows that she's in for a rough night. She immediately has a swell and a mouse on her left side. She gets taken down. She gets controlled for the entirety of the first round. Okay. And we go into the corner of Elise Reed, and the corner's telling her, hey, just breathe. Listen, we need a little bit more work here, you know. You gotta be able to get out of the exchanges, you know. And then they go, you need to earn her respect. You know, you need to throw. Okay, so you just told a girl who got cracked in the first 30 seconds of the fight, when they're fresh and they're both perfectly fine, she got cracked with an overhand. Now, immediately this should be a red flag, because your coach should not be telling you need to gain respect from a girl who hits like a fucking Ford Escalade. Okay? You don't. Like, you just don't. You realistically don't need to do that shit. You don't. You need to try to work the clinch, you know, work her against the cage, take away some of that power, maybe slow her down a little bit, look for a takedown. What does Elise Reed do? In the first 15 seconds, she immediately goes only to boxing. Wow, that's a very good idea for a girl like Denise Gomes, eh? Yeah, no shit. Because Denise Gomes just walks up, clips her head back, Elise Reed looks at her own fucking heels, drops to the floor, and then Denise falls up with a devastating uppercut, left hook to the face. Elise goes down cold, and Jason Herzog, I think, doesn't have his fucking glasses on, because instead of stopping the fucking fight, we have Denise Gomes hammer the shit out of Elise Reed and Herzog's going, move, and Elise is sitting there getting clocked in the head. Just her legs are moving because she's getting hit. She's seething on the floor getting hit. Oh. And what happens? Nothing. Just fucking Denise is just going, you gotta move. Okay, fight's over. Oh, the fight's over now. Oh, that's good. Thanks, Herzog. What the fuck, bro? Like, seriously, what the fuck? No need for Elise Reed to take that damage. No need for Elise Reed to take abnormal amount of brain damage after already getting chinned and knocked out midair, and then hits the ground and wakes back up. Denise Gomes is devastating. She mauls anyone that doesn't have half a brain at 115. Oh my god, Denise Gomes is 115. Oh my god, I didn't know she was a 115er. I thought she was bigger. Did she drop weight? Has she always been 115? Oh my god. Guys, Tisha Pennington versus Denise Gomes. Make it fucking happen, please. I want to see Tisha get knocked out. That would be a crazy fight. Yo, make it happen for real, though. Anyway, yeah, Elise Reed got torched. Did not deserve the unneeded punishment. Elise Reed most likely getting kicked out of the UFC after that one. She has not done well in her stint inside the UFC, only beating Jessica Penne and Jin Yun Frey. I guess she got the win over Melissa Martinez and a shitty win over Corey McKenna, but these are not women that you can highly rate. These are not women that you can confidently say are UFC caliber, and these are not women necessarily that I feel like should even be around. Like, Fatima Klein is going to maul the shit out of Melissa Martinez. I'll just tell you that right now. I'll tell you that right now. Unfortunate loss for Elise Reed, but, you know, she's not the caliber, you know what I mean? She's not UFC caliber. And Denise Gomes gets a nice fight of the night bonus, or performance of the night bonus. Cash it in. Now, next in the prelims, we have Luana Santos versus Tainara Lisboa. Now, Lisboa was coming off of a knee injury. She was coming off of a year or 2.5 years. What was it? I know, a year and a half of layoff. And Luana Santos had fought 3 times in that. So, you know, Luana Santos is fresh. She's had more cage time. The cage rest is not on her side. Tainara Lisboa had problems with grappling inside of her career. She doesn't deal well with girls that put pressure on her and then take her down. And this is exactly what happened. Luana Santos just forces pressure, forces, you know, immediate tenacity or tendency, whatever the fuck, your tentative tendency, I guess. I don't know what the word is, but Lisboa was very tentative. She was a little bit worried about the takedowns from Luana Santos because the complete control of Luana Santos was pretty devastating inside that first round, which leads us into a second round where Lisboa gets taken down again, and we get into a situation where Luana Santos is just not going to lose. She's just winning the exchanges. She's winning everything. She's winning the boxing. She's winning the Muay Thai. She's winning the kicking. She's winning the clinch. She's winning the takedowns. She's just winning everything. She's just not going to lose. You can feel it, and you were just kind of hoping Luana Santos settles it with a submission victory or a KO. And which leads us into Lisboa just getting in a shitty position, getting in an Americana, gets her arm straight locked, and then Luana Santos gets the first women's Americana in UFC women's mixed martial arts history. Very good for her. Again, this is only inside the UFC women's mixed martial arts, excuse me. That this was the first one. Obviously, there's been others, but a very impressive win for Luana Santos. I would have liked to seen her maybe put a little bit more pressure on Lisboa early, but what can I say? She gets the win inside round 2. Can't complain anymore. Anything I say doesn't matter. I'm not the one in the octagon, but again, she could put a little bit more pressure on Lisboa early. Probably could have get her up in the first round because Lisboa looked a little bit shitty, just looked a little bit off. And Santos gets a win. She is 9 years the elder or younger fighter. I mean, it's kind of obvious that she was going to have a speed advantage, that she was just going to take over Lisboa. A lot of MMA bettors taking the side of Tainara Lisboa. Very, very, very one-sided. Very, very, very tunnel-visioned when you're looking at that. Luana Santos had a bad win or a bad loss against Casey O'Neill, but Casey O'Neill's twice the striker Lisboa ever was, and doesn't have a knee injury. So there it is with that. Next on the prelims, Yader Del Valle versus Connor Matthews. Now, of course, I had Del Valle by KO early. It did seem like it might have been a problem if Connor Matthews shot, because Del Valle has a nice guillotine. We were a little bit stressed out about that. I probably should have just put under 1.5 rounds, but I did not. Connor Matthews goes and just gets torched up, bro. Like, it's one of those things where Connor Matthews is good. He's just not, he'd be good on the regional scene. He's just not a UFC caliber fighter. Now, Connor Matthews immediately started the fight, shaved the beard, so you knew he was going to lose right away. Lost the beard buff. And Del Valle just beat the fuck out of the kid. Like, Connor tried to get a takedown. Just did not work. Got his back taken eventually, and then just got flattened out immediately. Ate some punches to the back of the head, basically, and then just gave up the choke. He let it happen. He knew the fight was over. He'd rather get choked out than he would get punched in the fucking head. Connor Matthews taps in like 3 seconds maybe. And Del Valle wins his UFC debut after winning on the Contender Series in impressive fashion. And gets a win over a guy who's kind of not that good, but at least you get a finish. You don't look bad. You look very impressive, and at least we get a look at a guy at 145 who kind of looks like he can make a run at it. Featherweight's getting stacked, welterweight's getting stacked, guys. I'm just saying we're kind of coming back into a golden age. I'm not gonna say we are in a golden age, but it feels like a lot of the prospects are coming right now that are fucking heat. The bantamweight prospects are pissing me off though, because they seem to be all frauds and they're all gonna get checked. Same with the heavyweight one, Shamil Gazif. Oh my god, that dude's a fraud. Just wait. Waldo Cortez Acosta. feels like a fraud to me too, but we'll see about that in a couple weeks. And then next on the prelims, Jared Flash Gordon versus Thiago Moises. I'm not sure why anyone picked Thiago Moises. I'm not sure what we were thinking there. Yeah, Jared Gordon, just quicker. In my opinion, should be on a 6-fight win streak, realistically. Beat Nasrat Haqparast, in my opinion. Knocked out Mark Madsen in the first round. Beat Paddy Pimblett, in my opinion. Head clash against King Green, so it doesn't really count. Leonardo Santos. And the only loss in his last, 9 fights would have been Grant Dawson by submission, because Grant Dawson's just too good. Dude on the ground is ridiculous. He's just too overbearing, and a lot of guys just can't handle that. They just can't deal with his type of pressure, and they can't deal with his level of grappling, especially when you can barely lay hands on him, except for, Bobby Green with that fucking straight. And you have Thiago Moises, who is slower in the exchanges, very, very good kicks, but he's not a guy like Jared Gordon. Jared literally is able to go in and out of exchanges. He fights very well on the outside. He fights very well in clinch work. Fights very well when he has to fight dirty. He just fights well everywhere. He has good takedown defense. He doesn't really get taken down by guys unlike, like I said, Grant Dawson. Thiago Moises doesn't have the level of takedowns like that. He has the jiu-jitsu. He doesn't have the takedowns, though. He has to get you down. And usually that comes with kicks and stuff. Jared Gordon was never going to use a lot of kicks against Thiago Moises. It just wasn't going to happen. It's not in his arsenal. It's not in his level of style. It's just not what he likes to do. So it's a very, very easy pick for me to pick Jared Gordon, which I did. He was one of my locks of the week, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. Maybe he was the honorable mention. But again, Jared Gordon gets a nice win over Thiago Moises. Knocks him out cold inside the first round with an overhand and a couple follow-up shots. And Thiago Moises very clearly had a concussion, was holding his eye, complaining of pain, and the lights were bright immediately. And Jared Gordon gets a dude, he's going to make a run at the title at 155. He just is. He is already on the way there. He's going to get a number next to his name. He should already have a number next to his name, in my opinion. And Jared Gordon's just showing up the judges, man. He's just proving that he's way better than his record shows. He's proving everyone wrong. A lot of people did not have a lot of faith in him. I did, and I'm really glad that Jared Gordon gets it done. Fuck Thiago Moises, because the amount of hate that was on Jared Gordon this week was absolutely just horrendous. I love Moises, but dude, the hate from the Brazilians was coming heavy for Jared Gordon. Fuck that. Get some of that, bud. Overhand right by the New Yorker. Now, we're going to move on to the top of the prelims. We had Gabe Gifted Green against Mateus Camilo. If you do not know who Camilo is, he is making his UFC debut after beating the guy at the UFC presser, which was on UFC. I think I have it here. One second. Let me see what I have here. It was maybe it was Dennis Bajuka. It may have been Dennis Bajuka. Let me just double check this. What a showing from. Perhaps not. I don't know what it was. It was one of the most recent UFC cards, like 303 or something like that, 312 or. Well, I'm not exactly 100% sure, but he did talk in the crowd and talk to Dana and said, "I want to fight." So they gave him a fight, and they gave him Mateus Camilo inside of the Korean Zombies promotion in South Korea, and he loses a unanimous decision to Mateus Camilo after looking quite good in the first round, but looking like he gassed inside the second and third. And Camilo they gave to Gabe Green. Now, Gabe Green was also getting disrespected because of the fact that he got knocked out by Brian Battle. By the way, Brian Battle, he literally just went into a hayfire. He's not a guy that usually does that, so he literally said that he's not going to do that anymore. He's going to take the break on, which is good. He fought against Ian Machado Gary, got cracked quite a bit in that fight, but never gave up. And that's kind of where it leads into against Mateus Camilo, because Mateus Camilo is a guy who, when he gets a finish, when he drops you, he uses everything. And he will use everything to try and get you. Now, Gabe Green gets into the round 2. He's a little bit fucked up. He's losing the fight a little bit. He probably lost round 1. But he's still looking good, still moves well. Maybe he won round 1, but we don't know. Camilo controlled him a little bit. And we have Gabe Green, who we're not exactly sure how he's going to get in and get out, but we're hoping that, in round 2 he shows up against Camilo, and maybe we get a little bit of grappling going since Gabe Green's so good on the ground. Mateus Camilo makes the mistake of going right for a fucking rear naked choke or whatever it was. He went right for a submission on Gabe Green. Had him in, locked in. I think it was a triangle choke, if I'm not mistaken. But had him, like, locked in. Let me see if I can find it as well. But had it locked in. Gabe Green gets out of it after a long fight with it. And eventually just gets Mateus Camilo's back and just kind of wrecks him up. Now, let's see if we can see it here.
He's got to try to...
Really nice work.
Yeah, it's a triangle. It was right in a triangle. He's in it like deep. Like, look at this. He's in deep. Yeah, he's in deep. Okay, like he's. Oh, we need to get rid of this here. I'm not sure why it's not. Oh right, I gotta do that. There we go. So he was in that deep. Eventually, gets the reversal, gets a submission victory over Mateus Camilo, which I bet I had Gabe Green by submission. I just felt like Camilo was going to get gassed eventually. Gabe Green paid in the plus 900. Thank you, sir. Very beautiful win for Gabe Green. I'm really glad to see that he still has it where he can make a comeback. He doesn't lose himself in the fight. He still, you know, forces a way to try and get a victory. And that's what I like about Gabe Green. He is truly gifted. He has all of the needs and all of the wants you could realistically want to become a UFC champion. He just needs to put it all together and I think have a little bit better focus inside early rounds, because when he fights guys that can run 3 rounds, he doesn't do as well and he kind of falls apart because inside that 3rd round he knows it's over. But I'd like to see him, you know, get maybe a little bit better cardio, maybe work the boxing a little bit more, especially because most of the guys he fights, he does have the reach advantage, and just use the takedowns, man. It's what he's comfortable with. It's what he's going to get the win with. Let's just try and focus on that, and I think Gabe Green can really make a run at 155. I think truly he has all the talents needed to make a run at the title and make a run at the top 15, because I think he's one of those guys that should be in the top 15. Just had a little bit of a rough stay against Brian Battle and didn't you know, show up really at that fight. Just kind of had a brawl and got taken out in unfortunate fashion. Now we're going to move on to the main card of the evening. If you guys did enjoy this so far, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Again, I am a little bit sick. We are trying our best here. The show must go on. Next on the main card, Maquizio Costa versus Julian Juicy J Arosa. I thought it could have gone either way. But truthfully, it was 29-28 for Maquizio Costa. I think it was pretty clear. Probably the first 2 rounds may have been Costa, or maybe they gave him 1 and 3. But Juicy J was coming on pretty strong inside that 3rd round. He did get cracked quite a number of times. Usually Juicy J is a guy who does not have the fight go past 2 rounds. He is a guy who either gets knocked out or submitted, or does the knockout or submitting himself. Now, Maquizio Costa also is on the same branch of that, but has had 3 weight cuts in 3 months, looking a little bit slowed down inside that 2nd and 3rd round, more so than normal, and Julian Arosa felt it, was coming on strong. Costa still landing very, very clean shots, just not enough oomph, not enough, you know, power in them shots to drop them, and Arosa just kept coming forward, never stopped. I really, truly felt like it could have gone either way. I'm not sure what they had it for. Maybe Maquizio Costa versus Julian. Let's just see what they had. Julian Arosa, MMA decisions. I just want to see what people had, okay? I just want to see. I feel like a lot of people might have had... yeah, they gave Arosa the 3rd round. Yeah, so that's what I felt too. It just felt like Costa fell apart in the 3rd round, didn't have any gas left, was just kind of forcing Julian away from him. I felt like Costa did win the first 2 rounds. A very good decision. Used really good boxing, just trying to keep Julian away. Most of the takedowns didn't really came very few and far between. And when they did happen, we were not on the ground for very long. Costa did get taken down, I think, in the 2nd round near the end, but nothing really happened. But again, good win for Maquizio Costa. A very tough Julian Arosa, who's getting a little bit older. A very tough vet. But, you know, is forced to show all of his skills and show that he is the younger kid. He is the better, just overall mixed martial artist. And he showed it, which is good. Makes me very impressed with Maquizio Costa, because now he's on a nice little run. 4 in a row, 2 by finish. And now he can start looking towards those, you know, maybe a Steve Garcia rematch, maybe a little bit, you know, a more difficult fight than Steve Garcia. He needs to fight a big power puncher, I think, to try and prove to some guys that he can stand and bang with some guys. Because Maquizio Costa does have a bit of a problem with his chin. When he gets hit clean, he usually gets stunned quite heavy. And he isn't a guy who recovers super fast. He's a guy that needs quite a bit of time to recover. You can see that in most of his other fights. Steve Garcia also very clearly put his lights out with ground and pound. He just needs a little bit more time to recover than most guys at 145. I think he drains quite a bit of weight. And again, he drained a lot of weight in the last 3 months. So I can kind of see why he was a little bit tired and a little bit gassed late in the fight. And when Julian was cracking him, he was taking a long time to recover from him. Looked like he was going to go out in that third round. Luckily, did not. Now, next in the main card, we had Nurulston Ruzaboyev versus Dustin Stoltzfus. It was pretty clear that Ruzaboyev was going to win, but I did have knockout. It was, I'm not sure why Ruzaboyev didn't strike with him more. Kind of felt like Ruzaboyev was a little bit tentative. It kind of felt like Dustin Stoltzfus was employing his game plan quite well. Felt like the grappling was exactly where Dustin wanted to be. Felt like, sorry guys, I'm just doing something on the side here with my eardrops because, gotta put some fucking stuff in my ear. Oh, we're dripping down the ear. That's good. Yeah, I love it. I love when it's like that. Anyway, we're gonna do the rest of this like this right now. Yeah, just don't worry about me, guys. We're okay. Yeah, Ruzaboyev, I felt like was gonna strike a little bit more. It felt like realistically, Dustin Stoltzfus was not even close to being on his level. Dustin Stoltzfus being knocked out by Bruno Ferreira with that spinning back elbow, whatever it was, the double spinning back elbow. He got knocked out by who was the other one there? He got knocked out a little while ago. It's not the kickboxing. He got knocked out. Where's the other one, bro? Doesn't he have another knockout? Am I wrong? Am I lost? I think I'm just lost. But, oh, there you go. Abus. Yeah, Abus Magomedov knocked him out as well. Now, I don't understand how Ruzaboyev didn't knock him out. He has a lot better power, I feel like, than most of these guys that Stoltzfus is getting knocked out by. Even Marc-Andre Barriel almost put him out. It was just basically whoever hit first was going to go out in that fight. And you have Ruzaboyev who, literally is all knockouts, right? If we look at him, he's all knockouts, right? All knockouts and submissions. He's all finishes. That was his third decision in his career out of 50 fights. Dude's third fucking decision out of 50 fights. Are you kidding me? And we bet, the one time we bet not to go distance. And we get cooked. It is what it is. Dustin Stoltzfus didn't look good. Looked bad. There's nothing good to say about him. He's a guy who's almost a pure grappler at 185. That doesn't work anymore. You gotta have a little bit of something. You know what I mean? You gotta have a little bit of a mix-up. You gotta have something that gets you those takedowns when you can't just force them. Because he's not forcing it against a guy who's 6'5" and 76 inches of reach. It's just not gonna happen. You're not gonna get that. It's realistically not gonna happen. It's gonna be really fucking hard for you to get that takedown. Because Ruzaboyev, all he has to do is stand a strong base. You ain't getting shit. He's so long. There is no way you're getting your arms around him. And kind of showed that in the fight. Dustin Stoltzfus loses a long decision, and Ruzaboyev once again just gets another easy win on his record, basically. Now we're going to move on to the co-main event of the evening. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It was supposed to be Paul Gregg versus Rodolfo Bellato. Bellato pulls out with herpes. I'm not even kidding. He literally pulled out with herpes. He had a herpes issue, and he was not cleared to fight. Therefore, we had Marion Santos versus Sadiq Youssef, and Sadiq Youssef has some problems in his back, and it was quite clear in this fight. He's a lot slower. At 155, he looked really bad. Marion Santos looked fucking fat, and he was beating the shit out of Sadiq Youssef. Beating the shit out of Youssef. Youssef, 5 years ago, would have ate Marion Santos for lunch. Sadiq did not look good. Looked like he had a lot of problems moving. Looked like he had a lot of problems throwing kicks. Looked like he couldn't get anything going. Just looked not good. He did not look himself. Marion Santos just overwhelmed him. Very good, clean boxing. Lost the first round, lost the second round, and I think lost the third round. It was unanimous, in my opinion, 30-27. It's unfortunate, man, because Sadiq Youssef is one of those guys that you'd wish would do so well. Almost knocked out Edson Barboza in the first round of their fight. Almost gets knocked out in the third round by Edson himself and ends up losing a long decision. It's just unfortunate to see a Sadiq Youssef who now is riddled with back problems. He has disc issues, and I don't think he's going to be able to fight at a high level anymore. He's going to have that back surgery. He's going to have to be out for a couple years. And by the time he comes back, the level of competition is going to move so far past him that what he remembers at 145 and at 155 is not going to be realistic anymore. It's just not going to be there. The level of competition is moving way too quick. These divisions are getting stacked. Like 155 is so stacked, it's not even funny. It's so stacked. Like you can name everyone in the top 15. That's how stacked they are. Most people that don't even watch UFC could probably name most of the people in the top 15. That's how stacked they are. But like I was saying, Marion Santos just beats the hell out of Sadiq Youssef, uses his clear boxing advantage and clear speed advantage to just kind of put Youssef in a hole. And even Marion Santos, I'm pretty sure, got a takedown or two, just controlling Youssef, just not giving him an inch to breathe, and just getting a nice, easy decision on his record. Now we're going to move on to that main event of the evening, which was Michael Morales versus Gilbert Durinho Burns. This is basically the retirement fight of Gilbert Burns. I did feel like maybe this was going to go a little bit later. Maybe Gilbert lasts a little bit longer than Neil Magny. Instead, he lasts less time than Neil Magny. Michael Morales hits him with just too many shots over the guard, bro. Gilbert's holding his hands high, and Michael's so long that he's throwing the shots over and under the guard of Gilbert Burns and literally punching through the guard. Completely through the guard. And there's nothing Gilbert can do. He just gets cracked. He gets hurt, and obviously Gilbert is not a guy that is known for taking heavy punishment. He's not a guy known for taking big shots. He's one of those guys that gets in, and if he gets cracked bad, he usually gives up. Now, he did get cracked by Michael Morales, kind of gave up, and then after eating a couple hammer fists, felt like he could make one last stand. Tried to go for a double leg takedown. Michael just gets back up and just starts beating the shit out of him again, and Gilbert just falls down, and that is the end of the fight. Michael Morales with 8 inches of reach advantage. Like, this dude has 80 inches of reach, basically, at 6 foot, at 170. That is a fucking problem, because he is so strong at welterweight. It is ridiculous. What 170 is getting so stacked right now. Yeah, I don't even know, like, what else to say. Like, it's actually ridiculous. Welterweight is going to be the best division probably for the next little while. Absolute heavy hands, amazing jiu-jitsu. The wrestling is fantastic. The Muay Thai is ridiculous. The boxing is impeccable. You can't even be mad at it. Michael Morales is an absolute insane fucking fighter, man. He literally fights like a Mexican. He fights just a brawler who gets out of the way. He literally fights like insanely good. His boxing is so impeccable. It's not even funny. Now, fantastic win for Michael Morales. A fantastic career for Gilbert Durinho Burns, but an unfortunate loss in the career, an unfortunate end to what was almost a UFC title. Does not make it there. Does not get to the top of the pool. You know what I mean? Like he got very, very close. Beat up Damian Maia, beat up Tyron Woodley. Beat up Gunnar Nelson, Alexei Kunchenko. He had a good run. He really did have a good run. But only beating Jorge Masvidal in the last 2 or 3 years is a problem. It really is. It's a problem. Like, he got the Neil Magny win, but Neil Magny is he's not barely alive right now. Like, Neil Magny's literally barely alive, and he's fighting Gunnar Nelson coming up, and Gunnar's going to fuck Neil Magny up. He's going to submit Neil Magny so quick, it's not even funny. Because Gunnar looked quite good against Kevin Holland. He's going to get Neil Magny down and put him out, probably. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys this weekend. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already. I'm going to be doing something. I'm going to try and do one video during the week every single day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're going to see how that does. See if I can get in the algorithm. We're going to try and put some YouTube shorts together. Put some reaction videos together. And hopefully you guys enjoy. I will talk to you guys all later. We do not have UFC this week, very unfortunately. But it is what it is. We will be back the next week with Aaron Blanchfield versus Macy Barber. Look at that. I pulled it out of my hat. Haha. That's all I got for you guys this week. Hope you did enjoy. Peace.